Hello everyone, welcome to Edge Summit. So today we will discuss topics about ray optics. Some basic things that we need to know about the ray optics are first is light sources. These are categorized into two parts. That's first is luminous sources and the second is non-luminous sources. So what are the examples that comes under luminous sources? These sources that can produce their own lights, those are called as luminous sources. Examples are like sun, okay, stars, electric bulb, which can produce their own light, okay. And the examples of non-luminous sources are these cannot produce their own light, but they can reflect or they can return the light from the luminous sources. They can absorb the light from the luminous sources and they can reflect and return it back, okay. For example, moon, that's what we know, that moon reflects the light of the sun, okay. And glass, it can also reflect the light. For example, that's a mirror, okay. And there are so many examples. And what are the properties when we have started with light? So let us know about the properties of light. In brief, we will learn that light, it's an electromagnetic, okay. This is considered as an electromagnetic wave, okay. Light is considered an electromagnetic wave. So what are the categories of electromagnetic waves? That is, it does not require medium to travel, okay. So it does not require any medium to travel or to propagate, okay. And another property that we can know is its speed, the speed of light, okay. That's universal 3 into 10 to the power 8, okay, meter per second. This is the speed of light considered, okay. That's in vacuum, and it is also considered as universal, and it is same throughout the all the studies, okay. So next property that we will discuss is wavelength, okay. Light has a specific wavelength which is visible to human eyes, that is visible light, okay. Since it is visible, that makes us to see all the surrounding things, it's visible. And what is it specific wavelength? That's 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer, okay. This is important thing, that is wavelength of light. And the next thing is light is considered as a ray, okay. It propagates in a ray, that is a straight line. It propagates in a straight line, and a bunch of these straight lines or bunch of these rays are called beam of light. So this is some of the basic properties of light. And the next thing which we will notice is light. It can pass through transparent medium, okay. It only passes through transparent medium, okay. Then next is speed of light. We have known the speed of light, that's 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. It's in vacuum and it is considered universal, a standard speed, but it has also different speeds in different medium. For example, it has different speed in water, it has different speed in glass, it has different speed in air. Air is considered same as vacuum for theoretical calculations. So it's 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. in both vacuum and in air, but in glass and water and other substances where light can pass has different speed. Okay, it passes through different speed. And the next property, that basic thing that we know, that light not only passes through it, but also light has a property to reflect back. Okay, it can reflect back on polished surfaces. Polished surfaces in a sense, consider any of the surface, one side it's plain and one side it's being polished with any of the substances like silver, or in India we mostly see some of the glass or mirror which we use in villages, or most common mirrors, those are polished, or those are covered one side from cardboard. Okay, so that can be anything. Okay, so these are the things about polished surfaces. And the next thing is when light travels from one medium to another. Okay, whenever light transfers, for example, consider this as a medium, this is medium 1, okay, and this is medium 2. Whenever a ray of light or a beam of light passes through it, it changes its path, that let's deviate. Okay, it's not exactly in this path, it deviates whenever it passes from different medium to another medium. So these are the thing that light has a tendency to deviate. Okay, deviate the path when it is transferred from, or when it is traveled from one medium to another. Okay, so these are the properties of light. So next we will discuss the topic that's next thing is reflection. We know the property of light, once it has one of the property of reflection. So we will discuss reflection of light. Okay, so reflection of light, what is reflection? It is nothing but the phenomena of light, or the tendency of light to bounce back or to return back whenever it is struck to any of the surface. Okay, so this is nothing but reflection, bouncing back, you can say. Okay, bouncing back of light, the phenomena, this is nothing but the phenomena of light. Okay, so things to be noted down whenever a light has a reflection, or a ray of light or a beam of light has a reflection is, after reflection it changes its velocity. Okay, light changes its velocity whenever it's reflected back. Okay, it changes its reflection, light does not change its velocity, it's in refraction, but it changes its path. Sorry for the mistake, it changes its path. Okay, it changes its intensity, because some of the light where it needs to be concentrated, it deviates back in many other directions. Some goes through where the actual person is there, some to other directions. So we see the change in its intensity, it is decreased, the intensity is decreased whenever it is light goes under the phenomena of reflection. And the thing that does not change are its velocity remains the same. Okay, and its wavelength and its frequency, this does not change. Okay, these are the basic things you should know when a light goes through a phenomena of reflection. So some of the important terms that we need to know about reflection of light, consider a ray of light reflecting back after striking a surface. Okay. Okay, so consider this as the reflecting surface. Reflecting surface. This ray of lights, this is incident light. Okay, this is reflected light. So this is normal. Okay, so this is the normal. So whenever a ray of light is reflecting, it is reflected on a reflecting surface, it gets bounced back in some of the directions. Important terms to be noted down. Our first is reflecting surface, that you have known. Reflecting surface. So this is the reflecting surface on which a light is bounced back. So next is incident ray. Incident ray, the coming ray which is being reflected, this is the incident ray. The next is, or let us name this A, O and B. So incident ray is A, O. Okay, then the reflecting surface is M, M dash. Let M, M dash be reflecting surface. Incident ray is A, O. The next is reflected ray. Reflecting or reflected ray. Reflected ray is OB, or okay, this is the reflected ray in the direction opposite to it. And the next thing is point of incidence. Point of incidence. Point of incidence is the point where the reflecting ray touches the reflecting surface. Okay, that is nothing but O. And the next is, okay, next is normal. A normal is nothing but it's the surface drawn from the point of incidence. It is a perpendicular line that is drawn from the point of incidence on the reflecting surface. Let us name it as N itself. That's ON. That's the normal line. And the next thing is angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. Angle of incidence is nothing but the angle made by the incident ray with the normal. Okay, we can see here I have noted it as I. That's I. That is nothing but angle of incidence. It is the angle of the made by the incident ray with the normal. Okay, the next thing is angle of reflection. That is nothing but R. Same thing, that is the angle made by the reflected ray with the normal, not with the reflecting surface. Should concentrate over here, not with the reflecting surface but with the normal. And the next thing is, okay, done. So this is it. These are the 7 terms to be noted down when it comes to the reflecting light. So these are the basic terms which you should know, that what is reflected surface, what is reflecting ray, or what is incident ray, what is point of incidence, where does it lie, and what is normal, where does it touch. Okay, and angle of incidence, how to calculate the angle of incidence is important thing. So you should note down that from where, how do we calculate it. We actually calculate it between the incident ray and the normal ray. Okay, so and angle of reflection, you should be knowing this. So it's all about this. And the thing next we should know over here is, okay, it's laws of reflection. Consider again a reflecting surface. It's one side polished because it reflects a ray of light being incident on reflecting surface and being reflected back. Okay, and this is the normal. It touches, and this is the point of incidence. Okay, let this be A, let this be B, and this be O, and this will be M and M dash, and this be N with the normal. Laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. The first is, okay, first law, what does it tell? Angle of incidence. What do we know about from the word angle of incidence? It's angle between the incident ray and the normal. Okay, this is the angle of incidence. The angle of incidence, okay, is always equal to angle of reflection. Angle of reflection is nothing but the angle made by the reflecting ray with the normal ray. That's angle of incidence is always equals to angle of reflection whenever it comes to reflection. Whenever we have any kind of reflection, if a question asks if we have some certain degrees at which the ray of light is being incident on a surface and is being reflected by with some of the angle, we need to find reflection at what angle does it reflect back. So if it is given some of the angle over here, consider it as some 30 degrees, the angle of reflection also would be 30 degrees. So this is the basic thing. Okay, then second is the reflecting ray, okay, and the incident ray, normal, everything lies in a same plane. So this is the important thing. The incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence, okay, they all these lie in the same plane. That's AO. Let's stick with the just short notations. That's AO is nothing but incident ray, OB normal, that's reflected ray, and ON with the normal, and point O be the incident point. All these lie in a same plane. So these are the two laws of reflection. Okay, you should know this. That's the basic thing. And whenever it comes a thing that you might get questions like, what angle does the normal have? The normal always has an angle of 90 degrees with the reflecting surface. Okay, so this is the normal. Normal always has a 90 degrees with the reflecting surface. And whenever we deal with the plane or spherical surfaces, in case of spherical surfaces, normal to the surface will pass through the center of the sphere. Consider we have some curved surfaces or spherical surfaces, okay, and the reflecting surface is the curved one. So this is a part of a circle. So this is the reflecting surface. So what will be the normal? Normal always does pass through the center of the circle. Okay, so these are the thing which we should know whenever it comes to normal. That is, it's always 90 degrees whenever it comes to a plane reflecting surface, and in the spherical surface it always passes through the center of the spherical surface or center of a circle of which this spherical reflecting surface is part of it. Okay, so this is all about laws of reflection. So next thing that we will know is image. Okay, let's talk about image. So what is image? Okay, image, it's might be real, it might be virtual. Okay, real or virtual, but what does this image mean? Whenever a ray of light or a beam of light, okay, it reflects or refracts on any of the surfaces, okay, it bounces back or it deviates and it meets at some certain point. Okay, this is in case of refraction. Okay, in case of reflection, okay, in refraction it is where it does meet, but in place of in case of reflection it seems to be deviated from a point behind the reflecting surface or polished surface. So that point where it seems to be emerging from is where image lies. Okay, so this is called the image whenever it comes to optics, and there are two types. These are categorized as first is real image, okay, and next is virtual image. And in what conditions we see these two types of images? Our first one, in the real image, when light rays emerging from a point object really meets at a point, and later point is called real image at the first place. For example, consider this as, okay, an object I, okay, and the rays which are coming from this object are being reflected or reflected by a surface. Okay, so in real image it actually meets at some point. It does meet in a real thing. Okay, so that point is where we see this image and it's called real. But in case of virtual, whenever the light from this object, okay, passes, it does not actually meet, but it appears from a point. Okay, for example, this is a kind of reflecting surface or refracting surface, and this rays, it gets reflected back in this direction. When it's continued virtually, it seems these are coming behind this reflecting surface. At this point of time, we know that the image is not real, it's virtual. So this is all about it. So we will see the conditions in which type of mirror we will see these real and virtual things in later things. Okay, so this is all about an image. So the next thing we will be learning is very important thing, which is for many other competitive exams. It's, okay, mirror. So we will, the main important thing, this previously what all I have told is just the introductory part, and the real thing comes over here, that's mirror. So what is a mirror? A mirror is nothing but a surface, okay, whose one side is for reflection, okay, and the other side is polished. So this is called a mirror, where one surface or one of its side of its surface is for reflecting and one is polished. Okay, so this is mirror. So again, it is categorized as spherical mirror, okay, and plane mirror. So spherical mirror is nothing but it is a mirror which is a part just a second. So this is a spherical object, or we consider it as a circle, sphere, or anything. So spherical mirror is the any one of this side of this mirror of this sphere is considered as a mirror. Spherical mirror is nothing but it's a part of a sphere. This is important thing to be noted down. It is part of a sphere. It can be any surface, okay, inner or outer surface, okay. So this is all about the spherical mirror, whose this spherical mirror is a part of actually a sphere, okay. This mirror is actually part of a sphere. So plane is nothing but it's actually a plane itself, okay. Just a second. So a plane mirror is a plane any substance or any object whose one side is polished and one side is for reflecting. Okay, so this is a spherical mirror and a plane mirror. This is the reflecting surface and it is polished surface. So these are the two things to be noted down in mirror. That's a spherical, this is reflecting surface, okay, and this is polished one, polished surface. You will further note down the details in the next part. So these are the main things. Okay, so again the spherical mirrors are classified in other forms, so we will know it later. So today we will discuss plane mirror. What all are the plane mirror, what are its circumstances, what all conditions does it have, okay, when a ray of light is reflected. So reflection by a plane mirror. So we will discuss this thing, that's reflection by a plane mirror. So what are its characteristics, what all are its properties? Properties, some basic thing that's universal, okay, it's the image formed whenever a ray of light is incident on a plane mirror. The image formed is always virtual, erect and of same size. Okay, so these are some basic things. And next thing which we note down is, and this distance of the image, okay, distance of the image is same as that of the object, okay, from the reflecting surface. So next thing we learn about this is deviation. Okay, let us first see how this reflecting surface acts. Okay, okay, just a second. Consider this as a plane mirror, okay, and this is its polished surface and this is the reflecting surface, and a ray of light is being incident and being reflected back, okay, it is being reflected back, and this is the normal, okay, so this is the reflected ray, this is the incident ray, and this is the reflected ray. So we have known the phenomena of this reflection, okay, let this A, B, and this is point of incidence be O, this is the normal N, okay. So first thing that we know is, the term which we should know is, okay, just a second. Okay, let's start with this. Deviation. So what does this deviation mean? This is nothing but the angle between the incident and the ray extended in the direction of incident ray. So we know this is the incident ray, okay. If it was not polished, the surface, if it was not polished, the ray would actually pass in this direction, right? But since it is polished, it changes its path, okay, and it's get reflected back since it is polished. Otherwise it would pass in a straight line, or it get some changes. So what is this deviation? Is nothing but it's the angle between the incident and the ray extended in the direction. Okay, the angle between the incident and the ray extended. So this is the incident and it's the ray extended from the incident ray. So the angle between this is called the incident ray. So this is nothing but deviation. Let this be I, that is incident. This is be R, that is reflecting, angle of reflection. So deviation will be this part, this whole part. So this angle is nothing but the deviation. So let this be considered as delta. Okay, this is the sign. So this is the actual angle that we know, this is the difference. So this difference of angle is nothing but the deviation. Okay, so we have some certain formulas to calculate this angle. Okay, so first is deviation produced by plane mirror. Okay, deviation produced by plane mirror. It is given by 180 degrees minus I plus R. So this is the standard formula to find out the deviation produced by a plane mirror. Okay, so this is the formula, and we know, since from the laws of reflection, angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection. Okay, so it does become like 180 degree minus, since it is angle of I is equals to angle of R, since it is I plus R, it becomes 2I, right? So it's 180 degree minus 2 times of incidence of angle. Otherwise we can also write it as deviation, which is equals to 180 degree minus 2R, since both angle of incidence and angle of reflection are same. Okay, consider this is the case when there is a single plane mirror. Okay, so this is the deviation produced. When there are two reflecting mirrors, okay, consider any two reflecting mirrors. Consider this as one. Okay, just a second. So this is one mirror, and so consider this as another mirror. Okay, so these are the two mirrors that we have, and they are inclined. This is the polished surface, this is the mirror, this is mirror 1, and this is mirror 2. Okay, consider these two mirrors, they are inclined at some angle. Okay, let that angle be theta, this angle be theta, these are inclined at an angle theta. So whenever a ray of light is incident on this, okay, consider a ray of light incident, so it reflects back in this direction and again it goes back to some direction. Okay, so this is the process of the reflection when there are two mirrors inclined at some angle with each other. So the angle of deviation that that is produced in these cases is given by the formula, that's deviation is equals to 180 degree minus 2 theta. It is 2 theta, since the what is theta here? This is the angle of deviation between angle at which these two mirrors are inclined with each other. Consider this theta. Okay, so what we note down in this formula is, here incidence, angle of incidence or angle of reflection is eliminated when there are two mirrors inclined with each other at some angle. This incident of angle of incidence and angle of reflection is eliminated. These two are eliminated. What does it mean? That deviation in these cases does not depend on angle of incidence or angle of reflection. It only depends on the angle at which these two are inclined with each other. Okay, so this is important thing to be noted down. Okay, and the next thing is one second, just a second, sorry. It's not 180 degree, it's actually 360 degrees. Okay, why it is 360 degrees? Because there are two mirrors. Okay, it is considered, since for one mirror it's 180 and two mirror it's 360. There was a slight confusion, sorry for it. Its deviation is equals to 360 minus 2 theta. Theta is the angle between these two mirrors. Okay, so this is the formula for it. When there are two mirrors, okay, two mirrors. Okay, so this is it. And the cases, some of the cases which we here know, let us discuss about it. Okay, we know it's independent, okay, of angle of incidence. Okay, this is the thing to be noted down, incidence or angle of reflection. Okay, important thing in two mirrors. Okay, when there are two mirrors inclined with each other. There might be some questions in some of the entrance exams, okay, where they have given some angle of incidence, some angle of reflection. Okay, but the thing which we note down is it's independent of angle of incidence. So directly we can consider the angle at which these two mirrors are inclined with each other. Okay, so this is the thing we note down. And we will discuss some of the cases over here. That's if the two mirrors, okay, these two mirrors are inclined with each other. Okay, these two mirrors inclined with each other at an angle 90 degrees. Okay, consider this as mirror 1, and this is mirror 2. Let this both be inclined with each other at a degree, that's 90 degree. Then what is the angle of deviation in this case? 90 degrees. This is the first case which we will discuss, okay, which we are discussing. Angle of deviation will be 360 degrees, okay, minus of 2 theta. This is the standard formula which we know over here. And here theta is nothing but 90 degrees. So angle of deviation will be 360 degree minus, okay, 2 times of 90 degrees. Okay, that's nothing but 360 degree minus 180 degrees, which is equals to 180 degrees. Okay, so this is the angle of deviation. So what we can conclude by this is the reflected ray is parallel to the incident ray. Okay, the reflected ray, consider this as the wait just a second. In optics, what we need to do is just have proper ray diagram knowledge so that we can get the proper conclusions. Okay, since we have here deviation is equals to 180 degrees, what we can find over here? Okay, let's consider, so this is the incident ray. Okay, so this is the incident ray. How does it reflect over here at some this angle, since angle of incidence is angle of equals to angle of reflection? And how does it reflect back? Again with some this, okay, somewhat like this, right? So this is the incident, okay, and this is the reflected back ray. So what we find out over here is the deviation is 180 degrees, and in ray diagrams it's both are parallel. Okay, so the deviation, it means consider this is the reflecting surface. So and this ray of incidence, this needs to be in this direction, but since it is deviated back, in what angle? It is completely opposite to it. So it's completely opposite in this direction back, which will be again 180 degrees. So it does reflect back parallel to the incident ray. So conclusion is, whenever a ray of light is reflected back in the same direction, just parallel to it, okay, that means the deviation is 180 degrees, the angle between the two mirrors is 90 degrees, theta over here will be 90 degrees. You should be knowing the short form. If theta is equals to 90 degrees, that is whenever two mirrors are inclined with each other at 90 degrees with it, the reflecting ray and the incident ray both are parallel to each other, and the deviation will be 180 degrees. So you should be knowing it. Okay. So next thing which we will be discussing, second point of it, is, just a second. So those kind of questions can be directly asked in many of the competitive exams like KCET, NEET. Okay, so you should be prepared for it. The second thing which we'll discuss over here is, whenever two plane mirrors are inclined with each other at 60 degrees and a ray of light is incident, okay, on one mirror, consider, let us consider this. Okay, here the second condition is, when two mirrors are inclined with each other at 60 degrees. Consider this as, okay, consider a mirror M1 and another mirror is inclined with it at some 60 degrees. So if it is 90 degrees, 60 degrees would be around, sorry, just a second. The second mirror would be somewhat this direction, right? 60 degrees. This will be 90 degrees. This will be 60 degrees. So this will be 60 degrees, consider. So this is the reflecting polished surface. Okay. So whenever a ray of light is incident on any of the mirror parallel to the other, okay, consider a ray of light is being incident in this direction. So let this be a ray, okay, let this be incident on any of the one mirror. Then what will be the reflection? How does it reflect back? Okay, it does reflect in this angle, okay, and from over here it does again reflect back somewhat in this direction, right? So what do we find over here is, this is the incident one, okay, and this is the reflected back one. This is the angle around 60 degrees. The incident ray and the reflected ray. Here the reflected ray is parallel to the first mirror. So this is the case you need to note down. This is parallel. Okay, whenever two plane mirrors are inclined with 60 degrees, the reflected ray is always parallel to the first mirror, okay, where the angle ray is being incident. So these are the two things you need to note down. Okay. So next thing we note down after this is rotation produced. Okay, rotation produced in reflected ray due to rotation of a plane mirror. Plane mirror. So consider there are two, let us consider, okay, any of let us consider firstly a plane mirror, okay, So this is a plane mirror. So it's mirror M. This is the polished surface, mirror M. Okay, and this is the normal. So first let me draw some figures so that you can understand it in a better way. So this is okay, let's do that. First case which we note down over here is mirror M. Okay, for any given fixed incident ray. Okay, if the plane mirror is rotated through an angle theta in the plane of incidence, the reflected ray turns to an angle 2 theta. So whenever a plane mirror, whenever any incident ray is along with the normal, that's 90 degrees with it, it reflects back in the same direction. So if it's incident with an angle that is 90 degrees, it reflects back in the same direction through the normal. There is no reflection, that is incident and reflection, there will be no difference between it. But whenever a mirror is rotated, okay, with some angle, let this angle be theta. Okay, whenever this rotation of mirror, this is the actual mirror which we have considered. Whenever it is rotated with some angle, consider this as the angle theta. Okay, and the line produced, okay, after reflection, okay, if this is the incident angle, incident ray, okay, and this is the reflected ray. Okay, so what we find over here is the reflected ray, it deviates or it turns, not deviates, sorry, it turns with an angle of 2 theta. If a mirror is rotated with an angle theta, okay, if a mirror is rotated through an angle theta, the reflection or the reflected ray, it turns with an angle of 2 theta. You need to remember this. In some of the entrance exams, they might ask if a mirror is, it is turned with an angle, some angle with 30 degrees. So what will be its reflected ray? Okay, here we do not consider at what angle it is incident. Okay, the only thing to find out the reflected ray is just we need to, that's it's just 2 times of the angle at which the mirror is being rotated. That's 2 times of 30, it will be 60 degrees. Okay, this will be theta and this will be theta. So it turns with an angle of 2 theta. Okay, so this is the one condition when we have a rotation produced, okay, of a plane mirror, and what kind of reflected ray we get due to it. Okay, the second condition here, okay, let it be, the first condition is when a mirror is rotated through an angle theta, the reflected ray is rotated or is turned through an angle to theta. So this is the first case, and the second case is if a plane mirror is rotated, okay, if a plane mirror is rotated in its own plane, the incident ray and the reflected ray remain at the same positions. The incident and reflected ray remains in same position. That is, if any mirror, okay, it is rotated in its own axis, okay, then we do not see any changes in the reflecting ray or in the incident ray. Okay, so next thing which we will be knowing is field of view of an object for a plane mirror. That is, instead of it I can give the heading, it will be minimum height. Okay, sorry, minimum height of plane mirror to see full image. Okay, so we will know this with some ray diagrams. Okay, so consider you are in, okay, okay, let us consider just a second, I will draw a mirror with ray diagram. I will explain you. This is the mirror. Let this mirror be F and G. Okay, and the object is, okay, let us consider a ground for it. Okay, so let this be surface, another surface. So let the object is placed over here. Okay, if this object is placed over here at this distance from the mirror. Okay, so to see, okay, just a second. So if an object is placed at some distance from a mirror, so what height of the mirror we need to see the full image, okay, of this object. Okay, so to find out, let us consider this as one ray does go from here of this object and another from this, another ray from over here and another ray from here. Okay, so there is a standard formula, okay, to know what height of mirror do we need to see an object and its image from a certain distance. That is nothing but height of the mirror should be equals to h by 2. So what does this h mean? Here h is nothing but the height of the object. The mirror should be at least half the size of the object to see its complete image. Okay, so this is an important point to be remembered. So height of the mirror should be half the height of the object. Okay, so this is one of the things you should be knowing. Okay, so next we will see some of the special cases of image formation through a plane mirror. Okay, just a second. Special cases of image formation through a plane mirror. First is, if an object is displaced by a distance a or away from the plane mirror, image will also be displaced by a same distance, okay, towards or away from the mirror. That is u, that is nothing but object distance, and v, that is image distance, is equal, that is u is equals to v. Okay, if an object is placed at some distance u from a mirror, this is the object, so this is the distance u, the image distance will also be same. Okay, so if the image is formed at some point behind the mirror, okay, so the image distance will also be the same in case of plane mirrors. And the second thing, if an object approaches or recedes from a mirror with a velocity u, then the image also moves in the same manner from the velocity v. That is, second thing, if an object moves towards the mirror with some velocity, okay, consider it as u dash, then the image velocity will also be the same, but the velocity of image with respect to the object, it is with respect to the first we have known that is u dash, that's velocity of object, with the velocity of image will be same when we considered it with respect to the mirror. But if we consider with respect to the image, then it will be, the velocity of the image will be, that is velocity of the image u dash will be 2 times that of the velocity of object. Okay, that's 2 times of u dash if it's considered with respect to each other. The same case goes when a plane mirror, if it's here, if the object is constant and the mirror is moving in with some velocity, in this case the image will also move, okay, but 2 times the speed or 2 times the distance from the mirror or from the object. Okay, if a mirror is moving with a speed, with a distance of x, the image will move with a distance of 2 times of x. So this is the third condition. Again, if both object and mirror are being moved, okay, in this case moved, that may in opposite direction, in this case the image will be displaced by a distance 3 times of what the, if let us consider over here, first is here u is equals to v, here u dash is equals to v dash. In what conditions? If it is considered with respect to the mirror, and here v dash is equals to 2 times of u dash if it's considered with respect to object. The speed is considered with respect to object. Here the distance moved, and if a mirror is moved at a distance x, okay, then the image that is moved with the 2 times of x image distance, okay, that's v. Here if this v dash, if the both object and mirror both are moved, then the image is moved with, okay, distance that's 3 times of the total distance moved, 3 times of the x. Okay, so these are some of the important points that we have known of plane mirrors. So all these things are important in point of view of any of the entrance exams. It might be KCET or NEET. Okay, so first thing, let's revise it in short thing. Laws of reflection. laws of reflection. Okay, angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection. Okay, image that is categorized by two types, real image and virtual image. Next, mirror are categorized by spherical mirrors, plane mirrors. And next, reflection by plane mirror. We have learned the properties. The image is always virtual, erect, and of same size and from the same distance. We have learned the conditions of deviation, definition of deviation. Deviation produced by plane mirror, deviation produced when there are two types of mirrors inclined with each other, and independent. Okay, when there are two mirrors, the deviation is independent of the angle of incidence. And we have known few conditions if these two mirrors are inclined with each other at some specific angles. It may be 90, it may be 60. The ray diagrams are important. If you understand the ray diagrams, you will get the conditions thoroughly. And the thing that is rotation produced in reflected ray due to rotation. Okay, if rotation of the mirror is possible, then the reflected ray also rotates in some specific angle. Here the incidence, angle of incidence or the incident ray is not considered. Again, it is neglected over here. And the minimum height, what height of a mirror do we need to see the full image? That's h/2. And some special cases of image formation is okay, we have known the object distance, image distance, velocity of object, velocity of the image, and when there are movements of objects and the mirror, in that conditions what image and where does the image form. So this is all about the image formation by plane mirrors. In the next video we will know the image formation by spherical mirrors. So this is the important thing for KCET and NEET. If you like the video, please do like, share and subscribe this video to your friends. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.